we've just downloaded Anki, and we got a shared deck, got the Fusion template deck. So now I'm going to teach you how to create your own deck. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to come down here, and let's just say, for example, I'm doing chapter 1 in Nepali, chapter 1 of Nepali. Okay, so I'm going to go to that. I'm going to press OK. Okay, and I'm going to come into Nepali here. I'm going to click that deck. And now I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to press add a flashcard. Okay, so when we start here, now you'll notice that you got a lot of options for putting in fields. And if you don't see that, what's probably happening is this type up here is still under basic, okay, where you're just seeing something like a front, a back, and the audio. Okay, and so we want to actually change that, if it hasn't been changed already automatically, to the Fusion template deck. Okay. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so we have all that set up, and then the second thing I'm looking for is making sure it's in the right deck, which is Chapter 1 Nepali. It's not in any of these other decks, and I think you'll probably be fine on that end since you don't have a lot in your Anki already. So from this position, from this place, we're going to start creating our deck. So let's say, for example, in Nepali, I want to do the word for telephone. Okay, telephone's pretty common word. It's usually just phone in a lot of languages, but we're going to see how it goes. Okay, so I got myself set up here, so we're going to type in telephone. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting myself up for using pictures and even sounds and things like that. So what I want you to do is go to your tab on your Google. You're going to type in images.google.com. And what I'd like you to do is kind of shift that browser to where you have access over here to your backdrop or your desktop itself. And then you can also kind of play around with typing in Google. So what we'll do here is we'll type in telephone. Okay. And we got numerous telephones on here. So whatever I choose I want to do, maybe I want to do this old school rotary telephone. Boom. All I'm going to do is click and drag that over to my desktop. So I've kind of set myself up where I can do that just really quickly. I don't have to like press the download button and then go into my files and do all that nonsense. It's just kind of automatically been done. Okay. So now that's first thing. And then the next thing I want you guys to do is create another tab that is of Google Translate. Okay, and that's going to help us on this next step. So I'm going to go English to Nepali. Okay. And then I'm going to pull up my Google again. So next we see this little field, my Anki again. So next we see this little field of our script option. So that is the actual script that is in the Nepali language. So not using English letters or anything like that, but the actual script of the word. So for example, if I was to type in telephone on Google Translate, it's going to come up with the actual script. And I can't even read the script, but usually nouns and adjectives and things like that are pretty straightforward on Google Translate, and so you can kind of trust it until you actually learn how to read the script. But from there, I'm just going to highlight that. I'm going to go to Control C, or on a Mac, it's Command C. Okay, and then I'm going to bring back up. I'm going to go Control V or Command V, and I'm just going to copy and paste it. You can also use your mouse to do it as well. Okay. Next little box. In some languages, words have gender. In some languages, they don't. Like things like Nepali and Urdu, words have gender. Languages like Turkish, they do not. So if it's Turkish, you can just even put something like that there. But in Nepali, a gender is, the gender for a telephone is feminine. 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So I'll put feminine there. Next thing, little grammar notes. So maybe if I really wanted to be really specific, I could say that a telephone is a noun or something like that. So, whatever you think. Next thing, the transliteration. Transliteration is how it is basically in English letters how the word sounds. So not how it's spelled in English, but how it sounds. So let me show you guys the difference. So telephone, as you guys would see in English, is spelled like T-E-L-E-P-H-O-N-E, but it's actually in transliterated telephone. Telephone. Okay, so in most of your books, there's going to be a way that it's transliterated. Okay, so in the Complete Nepali book, there's a way that they kind of spell it, and or at the end of the day, if you kind of have in your own mind how to spell it, you can put that in the translation here. So I'm going to put noun in my grammar notes, and then I'm going to come into transliteration. So I would put like telephone, if that makes sense. Telephone. Okay. This next place is where I can say and give an example sentence. So I could say, this is a telephone, or he picked up the telephone. I would do this in the Nepali language. You don't have to do this with every single flashcard you do, but sometimes it's helpful to use that in a sentence. Okay, so we're just going to skip that for this one. Next one is a sound. So I can actually put sounds into my flashcards. So the way that I put sounds into my flashcards is I'm going to use this little microphone up here. Okay, when it prompts me, I'm going to practice a few times telephone, 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 and then when I'm ready to pronounce it, I can come in to record audio here, and I'm going to record my audio. So you'll see right now. Telephone. Okay, so it worked well. And if you want to check and make sure, you can even do it a couple times. Telephone. Boom, all done there. And it gives you an immediate feedback, okay? Next one, image. So now is where I can take that image that I dragged over from here, I can drag it and drop it into this field. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to drag it and drop it right into that position, boom. And I'm good to go there. And then finally, script option 2. You guys don't need to worry about that. That was from my people last year who were learning Urdu and Hindi at the same time, okay? So that's all there is. If you'd really like to even put down here at the bottom, if you'd like to be able to organize your flashcards later, you could put something like chapter CH.1 or something like that, whatever it is. Okay, and then all I'm going to do there is I'm going to press add. Boom. So I've created my first ever flashcard. So I don't want to create any more. So I'm just going to go to close here, and we're going to go into chapter 1 in Nepali, and we're going to see what happens. So you'll see first. So if I press study now, I have a telephone that's going to come up. I can press the button and it'll play it. It's not playing it right now because I'm doing a screen recording, but that's the idea. Okay, so this is like the comprehension side, and then I'll show the answer if I got it right or not, or just to study it, and I say it was good. But then this is the more challenging side, telephone, and I can either get it right or wrong. I show the answer. If I got it right or wrong, I press good or easy or again. Okay, so that's kind of a basic of how we make our first initial flashcards. Now, one thing I'd like to say here, you guys have noticed here that there is English. Okay, there's English as well as the picture. As much as possible, especially when it comes to basic things like a person, place, or thing, like nouns, like cup, bottle, chair, person. I would like you to not use English as much as possible. If you read Influent Forever, our brains have a much easier time associating pictures than we do with just simply converting English letters to Nepali words, if that makes sense. Okay, so it complicates things later if I was going to try to make a flashcard that was me translating, oh, the man was running up the stairs. Well, there's not necessarily, I could probably find a picture of that, but it may not. It may be a little bit hard to do that. Okay, so, but as much as possible, use as little English as possible, and ideally use no English at all. Okay, so that is the basics of how to create a flashcard on Anki.